Okay. So, where were we? Does anyone remember what the last where I left off?
Um, you were mentioning the dialer
Yes.
and
Okay. Yes.
how,
So initially, this group wasn't started with that in mind with y'all, that more of your local network or your profession just puts you in. I know a lot of you are entrepreneurs, you know a lot of people, you travel, you're well connected individuals. So that was my goal, is to have y'all tap into your existing network. This is the idea. The deals are right under your nose, and you wouldn't, they're right in front of your face, and you just need to have a couple of key points to bring them over to me and Carletta. But that being said, a big part of this business, it is a sales organization, and leads are a big part of the mortgage business. So some of you, more of you than I would initially have expected, have asked for some type of leads to work. So we are working on that, and we should have it anyway, because it keeps us fresh, it keeps you busy, it keeps more scenarios. Um, it's a great way to practice for talking to people in your inner circle. If you're not, I know how that works. If you're not comfortable enough to talk about U.S. Real estate investment products yet to your friends and family or colleagues or associates, clients, whatever it may be, this is the best way to practice, because you get real borrowers with real deals. You don't know who these people are, and that to me is the best way to learn. So even the leads are up and coming, so bear with us whenever that may be. And in the meantime, we're just going to keep training. I know we focus on the DSCR, foreign national products, because a lot of you live outside the US or travel. It's an awesome product. I think on the last meeting, Carletta was saying how her French nationals they visited you in Detroit recently. Was that correct?
yes,
Yeah, that's so cool. Um,
yeah,
but they said, this is the best thing ever. Why isn't everyone doing this? Isn't every American doing these deals? So, it is a great product. It'll sell itself, kind of like to these French people. Our job is referral partners, sales agents, if you will, is just to let people know about the opportunity. You're not shoving it down their throat. You're just asking. It's like these people were looking for this, but they didn't even know where to start. The group of French investors. So that's your job, is really just all the people you know in your life. You're really going to hone in on, and you'll get a feel for it. Who might be good for this, and whether that's on the phone, in person, someone you meet in the elevator. It becomes natural, a part of when people ask, "What do you do?" This is how you can answer that question. That you work in the mortgage business or the real estate, whatever you want to say, you make it your own. But again, that's just the point here. It's very simple. At the end of the day, you can learn about the business, all the stuff that goes into the loan, which Carletta presented several times, and we'll always give you more loan officer stuff. But we don't want to overwhelm you at this time. But that being said, if you are interested in being a loan officer or being more active in the deals that you bring in, please let us know, and we can always train you further. And a lot of this stuff is available online too. You can just Google foreign national DSCR loan. You can Google any type of loan, and there's some videos. Uh, all the information in the world is out there. But any questions? I do have a few things. Yeah, maybe we won't go too long today, but I know Carletta had some script stuff, I believe, that she wanted to share. I had a call
yes.
with a private lender and commercial broker. I'm going to share some update with you guys on that. It was super exciting, and just get you excited and show you what we're really dealing with here, because this is $1 million opportunity for everyone on the call. So,
Yeah, but I know you had a question or wanted to speak,
oh,
and it's
Chris,
Henry.
my friend.
Chris, I remember we talked about having a property portfolio, something to show
Mm,
also to potential uh, customers.
okay, that's great. Of potential properties, you're saying that they could choose from.
Yes,
Yeah, that's awesome.
to to present some business opportunities.
Yeah, and also on that note, Carletta, if we could get some like closed deals, for example, actual properties on the that you've done, I think that's a great idea. So yes, we need to we're starting we're starting from nothing here, so we're just it's all coming together. So we're piecing it together.
So like
Um,
when you say the property, I can get some realtors maybe. Like,
mhm.
maybe we can like have a real like Chris maybe loop in some realtors if they want to showcase their properties as investment properties outside. I know we both know realtors.
Yeah,
Um,
everyone
I
knows.
think that would be a great, guest to come in and maybe just so that they can say hi, and be a contact. And that way that if they do have a property, then they can shoot it to the group. And then that way they can promote, to potential clients overseas. Say, hey, and then that way, we can already have a perspective broke down for it and things like that. So that's a good idea. I was just thinking about,
Can we do actual closed deals? Would be nice too. So people,
yeah, well, that too. Yeah,
I'm pulling.
absolutely.
I'm gonna pull up a hard money lender. Who knows what hard money is? I guess. Does anyone know what hard money is? Maybe it's a better question.
Have money.
Yeah. So as a,
It's
anyone want to throw a stab at it? Colin, are you antsy?
money that people actually have. Hard money, real money. People are willing to invest. They got it. They're ready.
I
Made
like
Cold
it.
hard cash.
I like that. That's what it should. That's what it should be. Um,
No,
no, no, not in this context at least. Hard money is a type of loan that's based on the asset, whereas it's there's going to be higher interest rates. They're usually short term loans, and like a fix and flip loan. I don't know, Carletta, how do you want to describe it? A hard money loan.
Yeah. So, actually, Cullen, you're very close. So, like, think of like whole cold hard cash. It's just not your money; it's the bank's money. So, say for instance that you need money quick. You want to buy this quick acquisition, and you just like, I don't have the money, but I got some of the money. So, what you'll do is you'll go to the lender, and they have it. It may be a private lender. It may be a correspondent or however, but when that it closes a lot faster. Like you said, it's based on the asset, so it's not all the way based on like your personal income. It's based on the performance of the asset. So they're like, hey, we got the money. Can you show us that the property actually performs? So it's pretty much like backing you up. It's a lot quicker to get as long as the asset is performing. You can get the money a lot faster than you can with a conventional loan or
Yeah,
like a government loan.
and
Yeah.
it's similar to these DSCR business purpose loans where they're not going to look at you, the borrower, as heavily. It's all going to be about the property, which is a big deal for a lot of people because maybe the borrower can't qualify based on their qualifications, but the property qualifies. So that's in the business world and commercial lending. That's always the thing. And residential loans, we get to that at some point if we start growing, and especially the team gets to 25 people, we can get some licensed individuals and look at residential loans at that time. But yeah, this is, and that's part of learning here that you always want to think in terms of the big divide is residential loan, which is you need a license for, and commercial lending, which most times you do not need a license. So that's always what allows you guys to do this from wherever you are in the world is the fact that you don't need to be licensed, so you can do these loans just like anyone uh, and get paid on them. So
Yeah.
that's
And so,
I put in the link there, guys, a fix and flip from a hard money lender in Jersey that I know of. They've actually grown to be pretty big. That's a sample deal. I would recommend looking through that. Where's hard? Yeah,
so I thought of a few ways, because Chris did mention to me how some people were interested in calling, right? And so seeing that everyone doesn't necessarily know all of the terms, and I know that my presentations can be a little much for some people. So I've created a very simple process, or a script, I should say, for people to follow if they're ready to start calling. Um, I'll go over, it's very, very user friendly. And then, because I know Chris wanted to go into, he had a conversation with another broker or a lender,
Both.
and I know that he's, yeah, yeah. And so I wanted to make sure that he has the time to be able to go through it all. I'm only going to need like 10 or 15 minutes or so.
Me too.
And so let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. We got this.
Ooh, there's no light here.
This one. Yes. Oh, maybe I just shared the tab. I should have shared the whole thing. All right. So this is what I put together for a referral script. So you don't need to know about the loan. You don't need to know anything qualifying. It's just genuinely finding out, are you interested? Are you looking for the loan? Are you in the market? Do you need financing now? How about later? So you don't have to go into loan detail. You don't have to go into documents. You don't have to answer specific questions at all with this script. And so the idea is to get you a list of leads to call, maybe a few hundred or whatever like that. And then whatever appointments that you schedule off of that list, you get a commission off of it. And so it's the still, 20% of Chris's commission. And so all you got to do is just call, set the appointment, and then we'll give you a pipeline as far as what the status is on that loan or anything like that. So that way you are able to be in the know to keep track of your commissions. But script, again, this is the first draft. If anyone feels as though it needs some type of, some changes, like, feel free to make it your own. Feel free to, do anything along those lines. So, introduction. Representative, we'll say, is like the person that's not the loan officer. You're just literally just calling to say, hi, are you interested? So you'll say, hi, this is Carletta calling from Ella Street Lending. How are you today? And it even goes into detail, pause for a response. So you want to know, like, oh, I'm okay. What do you want? Or, because when you're cold calling, you don't know who you're getting on the other side of the line. So pause for the response, because you're not a robot. You got to think about how you would want someone to answer the phone for you. I'm reaching out because we specialize in business purpose loans for investment properties. And I wanted to see if you're open to exploring financing options for any current or future projects. That's very key. Current or future projects, because maybe they're not in the market now, but maybe they will be in 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. Maybe they're looking now and just haven't found a property. So always leave that room for right now or later. Very, very important there. Building interest. So just want to give you a quick overview. Ella Street Lending has been helping business owners and real estate investors since 2019. We offer a variety of financing solutions, such as bridge loans, fix and flip loans, and funding for unique property types like hospitality and self-storage facilities. Now, let me pause right there. So I know with that one slide, we said that the commissions was like 200 per 100,000. That may not seem like a lot, but if you were to call someone and they're like, yeah, I'm building a hotel, can you give me a rate on that? I've quoted a hotel build for 10 million. 10 million. So, that's per 100,000. So that's, for yourself, you're looking at, tens of thousands possibly. If you just get that one deal, that's like it is a hospitality or hotel or self-storage. We do those too. Also, we do cannabis. So that's a lender that we do cannabis, not cannabis loans, but for the facility. And so if they're in the industry, because I know you're in Colorado, Cullen, we're able to help them finance the facility, whether they want to build one, whether they want to refinance one, or whether they want to purchase one. So, that is a substantial amount. So if you do find someone, if you're just calling and then it's like, yeah, I want to build an apartment building, well, you still get a commission on that, and that number can be, life changing. So again, pause for feedback. Ask if they, ask for details. You're a real person. You want to make sure that, they know that you're actually listening to understand, not just to try to get the transfer. So, and what I mean by that is, you can schedule an appointment and they don't care about it. They're like, yeah, this person wasn't personable at all. I don't care about this appointment. So pausing and asking for feedback, and then, like, whatever it is that they say, listen to it and then respond depending on, so the script might not be all the way, because what they say can take you off script, and that's fine. You're a person. So say, that's great. I'm not a loan officer, right? I'm not a loan officer, but I can connect you with one of our experts who can answer all of your questions and provide tailored advice. So yes, you want to try to get that information so that they know that you are listening, but it is not your responsibility to go into loan programs with them, rates, quotes, loan programs. You don't have to do any of that. That's not, we're just like, that's awesome. That sounds like something that's right up our alley. That sounds like one of our programs. Or, hey, that sounds great for our fix and flip program. Or we have just let me get you on the line with a representative, and then they'll be great. They'll be able to give you more information. So qualifying the lead. I know we just said you don't have to qualify them, but we do want to know at least, something like, we don't want to be like, oh, I want to buy a house to live in. Well, if you transfer that property or that lead, we can't help with properties that you want to live in, only investment properties. So if you schedule that appointment and a loan officer is taking that appointment or anything like that, and then they're like, yeah, primary residence, it's like, oh, everybody's time could have been saved there. So just, you want to at least a little bit. So if you don't mind me asking, are you currently working on any projects that might need financing? Or do you have plans to expand or refinance in the near future? Again, asking for current and future business. Even though this is not sales, you're selling, you're selling a service. So the good thing is we're not going to run out. We're not going to run out of service. So, you're not working on it now. Great. We can put you on the list, or anything like that for the next week, the next month, the next 6 months, the next year. Once a lead, always a lead, or once an investor, always investor. And again, listening actively and taking notes, because what you tell them, you want to try to get in your notes as much as possible before scheduling that appointment. So that they'll, the loan officer or broker or whoever Chris assigns the loan to isn't, going in blind. So of course we're going to have objections, right? Again, we're still in sales. Even though we're not selling a product, we are selling time and a service. So a few objections that you're going to see the most. I'm not interested right now. Keyword, right now. So I completely understand. Many of our clients weren't looking initially, but found it helpful to explore options and for future planning. Would it be okay if I schedule a quick call with one of our loan officers to share some insights? And so with that one, it can go one of two ways. So like, yeah, I'm not interested right now. Again, ask for future business. That's fine. I just want you to at least have that contact information for when you are ready, right? I want to get you that person for when you do, because if you call me back, I can't help you. So I just want to get you to that person that can help you, right? Objection 2, I already have a lender. Well, of course, some lenders or some investors, they have those relationships knit tight. They usually have their brokers. They're like, oh, well, I've been working with, Tom for 7 years. Well, that's great. That's great to hear. It's always good to have strong partnerships. If you're open to it, we'd love to provide a comparison or share some additional options that might complement your current setup. So it's like, yeah, good thing is brokers are everywhere. But the one thing is some brokers don't necessarily deal with everything. And that's fine. Just like us, we don't deal with everything. We try, but we have to narrow it down to be sure that we know, what our niches are. And some brokers are like, I don't deal with multifamily. No multifamily. I don't want to deal with the doors. I don't want to deal with it at all. So let's say, this investor is like, yeah, I want an investment property, but Tom doesn't do investment properties. So awesome. Let's get you in that contact to be sure that, you have the contact you need to get the funding when you are ready, if not now, or, just want to be a backup person for you. Objection 3, I don't think I qualify. So a lot of people may think that because they're like, I don't know. If they have a property, if they have, something in mind, even if their credit is a bad score, or no, if we're talking for national, there's no credit, but if their credit is bad, if you're making calls to the United States, we still want to hear it. I still want to hear it. I know that. I know people are like, well, if they don't, if they have, let's say, a 600 credit score, but they own 5 properties already, they're like, oh, my credit isn't the best, but I do own properties free and clear. Oh, yes, we may be able to. So, Representative, I hear that concern a lot, and I think we've worked with many clients who thought the same. Our loan officers specialize in finding creative solutions, even for unique situations. Would you be open for a quick conversation to explore possibilities? So even if you don't think they qualify, you might, So if they're not qualified, that's not a no. That's not a no. That's I'm interested, but I don't know, right? So transitioning to the loan officer. Again, for this script, it's not for the loan officer. You don't have to ask for, their credit score. You don't have to ask for any type of information. You just want to know what kind of loans they're interested in. Do you work with commercial properties? Do you work with self-storage or portfolio? So that's just the general qualifying questions. You don't have to go so deep into, into everything. It's just very surface level. So transitioning to the loan officer, because that's the ultimate goal of what we want to do on these calls. So it sounds like there might be some opportunities we can help. I'd love to schedule a quick call with one of our loan officers who can provide more details and answer all of your questions. So, you slot close them. So does tomorrow afternoon work for you? Or is there another time that's better for you? Or does tomorrow, I have, a slot close, which is, I got Wednesday and Friday. Which one works best for you? Okay, great. Wednesday, all right, great. Does mornings or afternoons work? Okay, great. Mornings, I have an 11 o'clock. Does that work for you? They're going to be like, oh, snaps. I should take that. I should take that 11 o'clock. So a slot closed, which, again, as we have these meetings, and then we'll start having mock calls so you guys can actually see the actual process of the whole thing. I just lost my train of thought. So, but if they agree, again, slot close. And then closing the call, say, thank you so much for your time. I scheduled the call with the loan officer at this date. You'll receive a confirmation shortly. If they have any questions before then, don't hesitate to reach out, and have a great day. And that's it. And with that, the more calls you make, the more opportunities that you're able to get. And then, you'll just be able to make that commission. You'll build your pipeline and be able to keep in contact with what it is that they're looking to do. And that's all. Back to you, Chris.
That was fantastic.
Thank you, Carlotta. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Had some people come and go. Yeah, great. I have some notes here that are relevant. A lot. Try to jam it into the 17 minutes. Yeah, if you have to leave, feel free at that hour time, but we'll be here. So much to go over. I love it. I'm so excited to be doing this with y'all. This is very, very good. So I have a few notes. Let's go down the thing. So we do want to get started. I do, and I think Carletta as well, with live calling, like we'd mentioned, getting kind of a calling group or team going, having some consistency there. Again, not sure when that will be, but it is going to happen, say within the next month or so. So on a weekly, daily basis, if you're free to jump in and make, myself or someone else will be there. We can just take turns, listen to each other call, do feedback, how it went, that kind of thing, because it will make all the difference. If it's fresh and you start making calls on a regular basis, you're going to find deals, and it's just going to make this whole thing easier. I know I can see Alex and Colin have both expressed interest I know Cullen's done some calling in the past and he was successful with that. So yeah, that's exciting. And I have here. This is a numbers game.
I worked at a call center in Florida for a year.
Wow, Cullen has a very good.
That's where all the call centers are because there's no laws down there about it.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why. Um, yeah. So this is a numbers game. It's sales, right? So get it in your head. At least for me, I did this last year. I did a lot of cold calls, and I got some deals out of it too. Or definitely got to talk to a lot of people as well. I'd say 1,000 leads is a good number to have in your head. It's going to take you 1,000 leads to get that first deal. Now, if that sounds like a lot, I remember it sounded like a lot to me, but that's 1,000 calls, let's say, not 1,000 leads, because you call the same lead 5 times. But I think you need to set realistic goals because if you do this for a week and you make 100 calls and you say, Chris, you do it for 2 weeks and you make 200 calls and say, Chris, it's not working. This is too hard. There's no deals out there. You have to. I think there's really. It's just 1,000 is going to do you a lot better. And I was at the point where I was making 100 calls a day at the end in about 4 to 6 hours, depending how the day went, depending how many people you get a hold of. Because if you're not getting a hold of people, you're going through that 1,000 calls a lot quicker. So even of that 1,000 calls, how many are you even connecting with on 100 calls? Maybe it's 5 or less. One out of every 20 people you're having a conversation with. So all of a sudden, 1,000 calls and you're only talking to 50 people. So all of a sudden, 50 conversations sounds a lot more doable than 1,000 conversations. So it's just getting the right frame of mind there. That's all can be done in a month. If you're making 100 calls a day, that's 500 calls. That's 2 weeks. So even if you could do it in 3 weeks, a month easily with 50 to 25 calls a day. Very easy to get there. But I think that'll help a lot of us get on point. And again, when you start closing deals on the phone, you're going to want to, that's when you're going to have the confidence to go into your real life and say, oh, I just closed this. It's going to be very natural for all of you. The script, there's different uh, philosophies here. Some people like to stick to a script and work it, like Carletta had there. I'm always concerned, maybe because I'm a sales. I never like to feel like I'm being sold something. So
Mhm.
that's just me. Some people like
Yeah, no, make it your own. It's
some
just a guide.
yeah, make it your own. But some people like they just stick to it and they work it and it works for them. They're good at it. And I'm more of a person that I want to. I had a friend. Well, I want to make it more conversational, more fun. Break that because the first thing is these people want to hang up on you potentially, right? I want to always circumvent that immediately, and I'll ask a question. It's all about asking questions. That's how we control things on the phone. And so your first question I'll do is, hey, this is Chris from Ellis Street Lending. Hey, Joe, this is Chris from Ellis Street Lending. How are you today? Boom, first question. They have to stop, respond to me, and I'm asking it about them. People love to talk about themselves. So, they're like, oh, I'm good. Right there. You're engaging them. Great. I'm like, do you remember requesting some information a little while back about investment properties? And again, I use this on everyone. Like Carletta's got this script. If they say, hopefully they say yes. But if they say no, it's like, who are you? How did you get my number? I didn't request any
Yeah.
information. You say, well, actually, yeah, I have it right here. And you say their name and email, and I go, hold on, let me check my notes. And you say, I don't have much access here. I'm a caller, right? That's above my pay grade. Uh, I don't know how, because they say, how did you get my number? You say, that's my
How'd you
boss.
get my number?
They
Yeah.
put it all together. They're using the internet and AI. You say, who knows? They have their secret sauce. But anyway, we're on the phone. Like, Are you or anyone interested in investment properties? And they say, yeah. Well, I've got 3 of them. Yeah, and I just bought one a month ago. So, oh, that's great. Then you start. And Carletta mentioned this. Refinances, you guys. If people have existing property in the U.S., that's something you always want to ask about. How long have they had the loan? How much is the loan for? When did they? All of those things, because we can a lot of mortgage business is redoing an old loan. That's called a refinance. So we're not only just making new loans here. We are that could be, that's I know we haven't touched on that. I've kind of done from this point of view where people want to buy property, but they might already have property and want to buy more property. So it's always a good talking point. If they already own investment property, it's great. But also with the script, I'd say learn it, practice it. I know Colin's like a waiter, and I've been that too. You have to memorize the menu. I like memorize the script, practice it till you have it memorized, and then kind of forget about it. Is the way I do it. So I do it till I
Yeah.
have it memorized, and then I don't look at it on the call, but it's in there. Where some people, because I never want to be perceived as reading, reading from a screen, because no one likes that. You feel like, that's my opinion. Maybe some people like it though. I think some people you can read the script and maybe who knows, maybe it works better for some clients. Um,
Uh, Real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
while we're on this topic of script, is there anyone interested in being a loan officer? Anyone
Uh,
interested in like more than just the referral?
Yeah, I would love to learn more about it. Definitely.
Okay, great.
I'd definitely be open to it.
I've got that here.
Awesome.
I can dovetail that into. So I think, in my mind, you should all want to be loan officers. That's just my mentality because this is a big opportunity, and I get it. If you're not, that's fine too. Some people are busy; they have their career, but it's just another way to make money in your life, and there's a lot of money. I have 1,000 leads here. We do sell a product, in my opinion. We sell the money. The money is our product. So a loan off the bank sells the money. That's our product. So something to think about. Um, okay, so that was good on calls. A little bit of theory, motivation. We are going to do. Oh yeah, the Google. This goes into the script thing too. The Google form. That's going to qualify these people. So when you guys can say, you keep it simple and say, hey, like she said, she was which loan programs are good for you. You can that first conversation can be 30 to 90 seconds where you're just touching base. Who are they? What are they about? How'd you get my number? Great. Okay. Once you've disarmed them, you always want to qualify for their time and say, okay, well, I don't want to. I'm not here to waste your time either, sir. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? We do a lot of these loans. And we kind of know what works for our clients. We want to see if this is a good fit for you. So I have about a dozen questions I can ask you, and then from there we can take it from there. Does that sound fair? And they go, oh, okay, sure. Then you open up the Google form, and you'll just walk them through it and say, okay, you know, do you own any properties now? Great, click the button. Go to, in that way, it just becomes very easy. You've asked their permission, so you're not just taking up their time. And if they say no, that's great. Cut them loose and go on to the next lead. Or say, I can appreciate that. Do you have anyone that comes? Do you know anyone that purchases property or wants to purchase property? You always want to end every call with that. You'd be surprised how many deals will come from that. Where they say, "Oh yeah, my buddy just is looking to buy some. I'll give you his number." Great. And I would say get those things while the person's on the call, because if they say, "I'll text it to you" or "I'll call you," you might never hear from them again. Say, "Okay, great. Can you give me that now? Get the email or phone number while you have them on the line." I would recommend. So I spoke with the gentleman, Max Snyder, before the holidays. This is to give you guys the big picture here. We are commercial brokers. There's a lot of money to be made here, life-changing money. Um, but Max was a more or less commercial loan officer for a bank for about 7 years. He said he had $400 million in loans that he had done by the end of it. And so he worked in the broker world as a loan officer, a broker for a bank. And he started his own private fund as I don't know, a few years ago, within the last 2 or 3 years, I would guess, max, maybe a year or two. But he's the bank now. He left the bank he worked at, and now he's the lender. He's a small lender. He's only put out his first $8 or $10 million that he has lent so far, right? And that's nothing in this world that we work in. But it's a start, and he's making money. He's been doing this. So it's really he's happy to. So why is this relevant? I'll give you a few things. Three things that come to mind. And I spoke to him yesterday for an hour, so it's kind of fresh. And he's interested in the team. He was asking if we could get him on the call here as a guest, which we should start doing. Guest realtors, guest business brokers, guest lenders, other than Carletta. We will. So the one thing, I'm so glad I met this guy because you can be the bank is really the phrase, right? What does that mean? Be the bank. It means make who makes the most money in the world. Every street corner in the world you turn, there's a bank there, right? And they've been there the longest. They have the biggest, fanciest building on the block. Banks have all the money, and it's like, how do you go from being an average person to being the bank? Well, that's exactly what Max has done, because he knows about this business and hard money. So he's a hard money lender. He doesn't like to use that term, but he is. And these are, you have your own funds to deploy, and he does about $1 million to $3 million loan amount is his sweet spot that he likes to do. But the point is, that's what he does. That's the world he comes from. And Carletta and I are thinking from the traditional loan officer origination point of view. And he's saying, why are you giving all these foreign nationals just real estate properties to buy? Maybe they want to be lenders. They want to invest in a debt fund, right? So it's a great point. And it is something we want to offer, because let's say you have someone with $1 million. A lot of our clients will have $1 million ready to go. It's pretty common for a foreign national loan. They're bigger loan amounts. And they say, I don't want to buy 10 properties in Detroit, but I would love to finance 10 properties in Detroit. They want to be the bank. So they're making the loan to to someone. So if we can get there, that's great. Something to put in your head, though. And Carletta and I want to do that too with our business. We want to start making loans. He made it. It's not actually that difficult to do. You don't need that much money. So we're building a big company here. We're not just brokers and originators, but if we can also become the lender and have our own paper that we service, that's exciting too. To give you an idea, though, he said he's a lender now, right, Max? He doesn't like to broker. He doesn't. That's not his thing. What Carletta and I do. But he said someone came to him with a deal in Idaho. I think it was an industrial complex. He lives near Washington D.C., so it's way out of his wheelhouse. But he's done this long enough, and someone asked him for help. He said sure. So he ends up brokering this loan. He's working on it right now. It's a $15 million loan. He is sharing it. He's direct with the banks. This is so crucial. So this is the thing. And you guys can start looking for bigger loans, like we talked about, self-storage facilities, hotels, industrial, any type of commercial, 100-unit apartment buildings, a 20-unit apartment building. It doesn't matter. Bring us everything, because if we can find it, great. If we can't fund it, or no big deal, right? On to the next one.
We will try.
Yeah, that's my attitude. It's just leads. It's all leads. And Max, just to give you guys an idea, kind of money we're talking about here, he it's a $15 million loan. He's negotiated 2 points. So he didn't tell me, but I'm thinking that's a point for himself, and that's a point for the bank that he's bringing the deal to. So it's a $150,000 fee. He's splitting it, he told me. So he's making $75,000 basically for making an introduction. He's not touching this loan at all. He's just pushing it over to the bank. Boom. That's what people make in a year, $75,000, right? So and he doesn't have to do anything. He makes that in a month probably, or more, with his business he's doing. So it's just to give you guys an idea. You could be on the call, like Carletta said, for a $10 million hotel. If you don't know who you're going to talk to, it's really crazy. I know you might not think it now, and even the people you know in your life. I know Geronimo comes to mind. He knows a lot of business owners and wealthy people. So there's big deals out there. It's not just the little single family homes, which is what we specialize in. But now that we have a good commercial outlet like this guy Max, who can get direct with the bank, problem with a lot of the commercial big deals, you get lost in a broker chain. So we take it to a broker, and then they broker it to someone, and the money, it just becomes a mess. Communication is not good, and you have to split the money with everyone. So finding real commercial lenders is difficult, but I feel confident about Max. Also, I think we have a rule. you guys are getting a deal that's $1 million or more, the commission payout is going to be different. Not just that, you still can get your 20% referral fee of what I make, but I would encourage in this scenario, let's say Carletta happens to be working the deal or not. We have to talk about it, but the split, let's just say in this example, it would be me, you who brought the deal in, and Carletta. The three of us are working that loan. That would be a three-way split. So if that's $1 million loan, for example, and there's 10, who knows how much money we're making them, $10,000 to $15,000, that would be 3,333 or $5,000 a piece we would make on that. But let's use the $10 million example. Same thing. That's a $100,000 payday. So we all make $33,000 to 30 to 40, $50,000 on that loan, and work it together. So you would need to step up and be really active in that loan. But if you're going to make 30 grand, I think it behooves you to learn how to do this business really quickly, and ask me and Carletta, and we'll hold your hand through the whole thing. You would be very active, and again, then all of a sudden you're a loan officer, and then you start to just that's your first deal you've done, and it just goes from there. So there is real money to be made out there. To give you an idea that we can offer lending to people. If it's over $1 million, the commission structure can be different. And that goes for any deal, though. If you guys want it, you'll make more money on every deal you bring in if you decide to say, I want to be a loan officer. And we'll put you through a crash course. Hopefully we can get you there quickly. But it's going to be your commitment. You're going to be the first point of contact for that borrower, and they're going to rely on you. We'll be there to support you, but the best way you're going to learn is by doing deals. And that's what this is all about. So I wanted to put that in your mind. Big deals, big money. And this guy is the same way. He says he comes from that commercial world with big deals. He kind of I wouldn't say he looks down on us, but he sees it as a waste of time, what we're doing. He says he'd rather have the big paydays
The big ones.
a couple times a year. And that's just the world
Yeah.
it comes from, making 50 grand 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year, whatever it is. So put that in your head. The deals you go for, and we're going to provide you hopefully all different kinds of leads. So you're never going to know if you're talking to the small, medium, or large investors, but they're all out there, and it's easy. You can get just between Twitter and Google and Facebook and LinkedIn investor groups. You can find pretty quickly. You can stay busy all day. And that's the kind of thing we'll do when we're making live calls. Show you how to do it, but you get a knack for it. It becomes fun, and when you start to make money, it becomes even more fun. So if they stay with this, we're going to be doing this all year, Carletta and myself, and you guys should give yourself time. This is not going to happen overnight, but if you're consistent, you'll get through the 1,000 leads, and you'll start getting your first deal. And the second deal, it just becomes infectious. Once you get they start to close. I would also.
And I know 1,000 leads sounds sorry, but 50 to 60 calls a day is a little bit, 40, 60 calls a day.
And you could do right. So 50 a day. That's 20 calling days. Is your 1,000 leads. There's 21 work days in a month. So 1,000 leads in a month. And I have a theory that first 1,000 leads, you're going to learn a lot. So your second 1,000 is not your second deal. It's going to come from the first 1,000 calls you made. So let's call that 500. You only need to make 500 more calls to get that second deal mentally, right? And your third deal, let's say it's 250 calls to get to your third deal. And maybe it's another 200 for that fourth deal. So the first one's going to be the hardest. You just have to plow through. Again, if you're working the dial-up. And again, I'm presenting this from a real loan officer mentality. And again, you guys, a lot of you don't know anything about our business, so I'm just giving you all angles. This is to learn on these calls and get in the head of loan officers like Carletta and myself. But you have lives. Maybe this isn't your full-time thing, but you're soaking it up, and you don't have to make 1,000. Don't be scared away by this either. You don't have to make 1,000 calls. Not mandatory. Just keep living your life and bring people to the table we can do deals with them. That's the way to put it. But we're just giving you the big picture, because when you talk about making $75,000 on one deal, that's life changing money for most people. So I want to close by saying, I know I'm going long here, but it's okay. We are building a business here. You guys all have ground floor opportunity as far as becoming managers. Whatever this turns into, you're in the beginning. So think of it too like that. Um, Learn, soak it up. If you want, this can be, if Carletta and I have 20 plus people or 50 people, then we have to start looking at bringing on licensed people and making a branch and all this fun stuff. So, we really want to go as far as we can with this. And, anyone who's here, that just keep that in mind. Like, just don't get too overwhelmed. Do what you can, but I just want to give you guys the big picture as well, the really big picture. So, any questions, comments? I know we're long, but that's what it takes to get where we're going.
Well, that's exciting, Chris. Thanks. I like the way you frame that. It's wide open as to what where this will go or lead to, and we can learn through it. And just it's definitely a different perspective of the world.
Hmm.
To see how much money is actually, to rub elbows with that much money that's out there. It seems unreal at first, or not possible, but it's all there. Once you're open to it. I like that idea.
Yeah, totally. The big numbers, don't let the big numbers, the zeros scare you, right? Just, it's like anything, you will get used to it with time. Just push through it. Also, Carletta mentioned something. I just see a note here about residential deals. I have outlets where I'm a licensed loan officer, so I could, in theory, write the loan on that deal, get my license in that state. But I also have people where we can close licensed loans and get paid. So don't, if someone wants to do a loan of any kind, way, shape, business loan, residential loan, we want to talk to that person. So I want to put that out there. Never say no. We'll find a home for it. I guess is what I'm saying. So we are commercial brokers and commercial investment loans, but someone has a residential loan or land, we're lenders, right? And we're brokers. So that's our job, is to place loans. So we will place it wherever it needs to go. Um, Alex, how are you? Did you have any questions? I know you are soaking all this stuff up too.
I'm good. I'm listening to you guys. Sounds good. Still waiting for to do the first call and to see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah, please be patient.
I'm a bit more. I'm a bit more of the. I need to be. I need to do things. No, chatting about it sounds great, to be honest. But yeah, I need to be on the field and get the phone and get the first call. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to take some live calls for this meeting and show you how to do it, but we just, with the holidays and
Yeah.
all
Next
this, it didn't.
next one would be okay as well. We have time.
Yeah, and okay, that's a good call for next meeting. We'll just do it and even. Yeah, we've given you enough theory, but it's important. You need the
Yeah,
theory.
it's good to have the theory, but I need
You
something
need
more
both.
concrete, to see how people react on the other end of the phone and how would I feel about it. And I like the presentation and the scope. I don't know how you guys call it in English. The little text that we might say. It was nice, but yeah, from that I'll try to move on.
No, thank you for your feedback, and you're absolutely right. We gotta get to it, but
Yep.
And
all of this
how do
stuff
you
on
want
these
us to
calls will
invite
make sense when you start to see it in the field, like you said. So,
Yeah, exactly.
friends that we have that are realtors or realtors? Do we know how? I mean, would you like them to invite us to the group, or how do you want us to frame that? Because I mean, realtors up
yeah.
here all the time. Seems like.
So I want to make a list. Carletta and I are in a mortgage marketing group that, with 19,000 loan officers and mortgage brokers. They focus specifically on realtor business. That is the most traditional way to find loans in our industry, right? You make connections with realtors. So yeah, uh, we can have that conversation. But I also thought cold calling and doing lists. We're talking about calling here. Sometimes you'll be calling borrowers, investors, but we should make a list of realtors to call, because if you're calling realtors, you're going to get someone that's going to be interested in working with you, and their investor, in theory, will just give you one deal or two deals, and then down the road they'll give you more. But that realtor, if you get a good relationship there, hopefully they can send you a lot more business, right? So yes, you want to work on that. I wouldn't know. They're not going to be part of our team because they're not referral partners or loan officers. Unless you have someone that wants to become a loan officer, they're probably happy being a.
Well, this on Christmas, I gave a snowboard lesson to a guy and his son, and he was a realtor from Studio City, Los Angeles. I got his Instagram account. That's how we communicate.
That
So
that's awesome. So that's someone
just
you
stuff like that.
can.
Oh yes.
So
So
we can,
you'll just let them know, like you do financing, and then just like if you know anyone that want to buy investment properties or commercial properties, just refer them,
see that's
and
it.
then boom.
That's literally what we're talking about. You met someone through the course of your life, and you didn't even have to go out of your way, and this could be a deal source. So that's it. We'll have Carletta and myself. We can of course show you how to work approach that person. But that's the
Cool.
name of the game. You
Thank
talk to
you.
a
No,
high
I
level.
appreciate learning with you guys. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
you've been consistent and open, Colin. I think you're gonna get it. It's a new thing. All of this is new, but got to start somewhere. So. Okay, team, you guys
Anyone else
rock.
have
I
any other
know we had some
questions?
people who jumped in and jumped off, who were stoked about the team, but a thin meeting this time. But no worries. Next time we'll do more.
What I think, Chris, what we can do is